Hi everyone. So I had some requests to actually do some of our homework problems on a screencast video just so you guys could have an idea about how I solved these problems. So I'm doing problem number 4 on page 12. And it says if you have 0.5 moles of calcium hydroxide and 0.6 moles of HCl, what is the LR, which means limiting reactants? And it says how many moles of water and calcium chloride can be made. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to balance the equation. So pick a pen up here. So I'm going to balance the equation. The coefficients for calcium hydroxide, that'd be 1. This is going to be a 2 for HCl, and it's going to be a 2 for water. So your coefficients are going to be 1, 2, 2, 1. Next, you can see the problem already has moles in it, so you don't need to convert grams to moles. So I'm going to write in the before line 0.5. I'm trying to, bear with me. 0.5 moles of calcium hydroxide, and then 0.6 moles of HCl. Then also in the before line, since you haven't made any product yet, water is going to be 0 and calcium chloride is going to be 0. So now this is where, actually this should be a point right there. You have to figure out which is going to be your limiting reactant. So it's really just guess and check. So if you can look at this, I can look at this mathematically and see that HCl is going to be my limiting reactant. And the reason why is, so I'm going to take away 0.6 here. I'm going to use it all. So you're going to take 0.6 right here, divide it by 2, which is 0.3, and multiply by 1. So that means I'm going to use minus 0.3. That's how much of the calcium hydroxide I'm actually going to use. Okay, now once you've determined that HCl is your limiting reactant, this is my limiting reactant, you're going to use your limiting reactant to determine everything else. So 0.6 divided by 2 multiplied by 2 still gives you 0.6. So I'm going to make 0.6 moles of water. Okay, and then if I take 0.6 divide by 2 multiply by 1, then that means I'm going to make plus 0.3 moles of water. So now just fix everything in your after line. So 0.5 minus 0.3 is sorry about that, is 0.2 0.2 in excess. This is all used up, so this is 0. 0.6 moles of water I made. And then I made 0.3 moles of calcium chloride. Okay, so we're going to do one more with grams. So here's problem number 5, and it says if you have 16.7 grams of calcium hydroxide and 32.9 grams of HCl, what is the LR? How many moles of water and calcium chloride can be made? So I'm just using the same equation that I used in the above problem. So my coefficients are 1, 2, 2, 1. But this problem's different because it gives it to you in grams. So remember, you got to convert grams to moles, and to do that, you have to divide by the molar mass of each of the ones. So if I have 16.7 grams of calcium hydroxide, I am going to divide by the molar mass of calcium hydroxide, which is 74.10 grams. So that gives me a molar mass, or that gives me moles of 0.2 2, 5, okay? And then you do the same for HCl. So I take down here in the bottom, you do 32.9 grams of HCl, and I divide by the molar mass of HCl. So this is HCl. It's going to go off the screen here, but that's HCl, 36.46 grams. So that gives me 0.902 moles. That's the math for that. Okay, so this will be 0, water will be 0, and calcium chloride will be 0 because I haven't made anything. So next you're going to look at and figure out the math. So if I do this in my head, I know that 0.9 divided by 2 is 0.45 times 1. So HCl in this case is not going to be my limiting reactant. It's going to be calcium hydroxide. So I'm going to take 0.225, and I am going to use it all up. So calcium hydroxide up here is my limiting reactant. So I'm going to take 0.225, and I'm going to divide by 1 and multiply by 2. Remember, it's always divide first, then multiply. So 0.225, divide by 1, multiply by 2. So this is going to be minus 0.225. 0.225 times 2 is 0.45. So I'm only going to use 0.45 moles of the HCl. Okay, so since calcium hydroxide is my limiting reactant, I'm going to use that value to determine my products. So 0.225, divide by 1, multiply by 2. This will give me 0.45. And if I have 0.225 divide by 1, multiply by 1, this will give me a plus. They're both pluses, and I didn't have to add the plus over on the other side. 225. Okay, so this is a plus. Now what you're going to do is just do the math. So this is 0. 0.902 minus 0.5, because of sig figs, is just going to be 0.45 in excess. Okay. So this will be 0.45, and this will be 0.225. Now, this problem just said how many moles of water and calcium chloride can be made. So I already figured that out. 0.45 and 0.225 are the moles. But if it asks you to convert it to grams, I can do that pretty easy. So if I want to know how many grams of water, I would say 0.45 grams of water. Okay, and what I'm going to do is 18. No, I messed up. Boop, this should be moles. So 0.45 moles of water. Moles of water. So now take 1 mole of water and say times 18.02 grams. So 0.45 times 18.02 grams, that should give me 2 sig figs, 8.1 grams of water. Got it. I hope this helped. If you have more questions, just email me. I can always do another video of a problem. It doesn't take me that long. I'm getting better with the mouse, but hopefully this helped, and take care, and I'll talk to everyone soon.